Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Again, like usual, I'm gonna add something to the comments real quick for anybody that's joining into the conversation. Alright, there you go. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh again. And anybody in this chat, please. This topic is very sensitive. It's very emotionally tied and mentally draining for anybody involved, even people that are trying to talk about it. Again, you have to be very PC, or a lot of people are very PC around this topic, and I'm actually not going to be. So that's, again, my trigger warning for anyone that's involved in this conversation. Anybody who wants to get involved in this conversation, there are a lot of conversations around this topic that are very concerning for people that are in influence, and so in order to avoid any misinformation or irrational thoughts from entering this conversation, I would like everybody that's involved to hold as much respect to this topic as possible. Anybody that's commenting, I want you guys to open up and let's make this a discussion. But let's keep the comments on topic and be respectful as you guys do so, right? So without further ado, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. The topic for today is the grooming of, Sikh women, because that's the first known cases and that's still what's prevalent. Again, there's each element that's involved that I already give warning of, and if you still think that that doesn't apply to you, you can stay for the conversation, and stay engaged as much as you would like. What is grooming? Grooming is pretty much targeting of mainly women, or actually of women, by a community for the sake of either conversion, psychological warfare, or towards the whole community or towards members of a community. And so an example of this is, and again, I'm not attacking any group of people, I'm just stating facts, and it just happens to be that these people are or self-proclaiming that they are like followers of Islam. This is not me speaking derogatory of Islam. This is me talking about people who claim to be followers of the religion and say that their deeds are done for their religion, even if they are or are not. That's, again, not the topic of this conversation. So what's happening is that these men, mainly men, are going to Nagar Kirtans, going to community events, community engagement events, dressed as Sikhs with the persona of Akada, of Dastara, of everything that you call the persona of a Sikh, right? Or modern day Sikh. So they'll cut their hair, they'll leave their hair cut, but they'll just wear a kurta pajama and Akada and then just be like, I'm a Sikh. They know the basics of Sikhi. They know the very basics of Sikhi. And then they get to know our women. They treat them really, really well at first. They treat them like they're perfect princes and everything else. And then they get some very slowly they get into a relationship, and they ask for racy pictures or for sexual actions with them. Take videos, take pictures, or have pictures of these women, because and then they use it as blackmail for them to get other sexual favors done, to themselves and to other men. And then they have these rape gangs, essentially, where these women that are trapped in this cycle can't go to their families because they're too afraid and too sensitive to what the community and people are going to say, that they are willing to allow this to continue, or they have to allow this to continue for the sake of their family, for the sake of what, like, our Punjabi community calls their dignity, right? And because of this, these women will allow, or are forced into essentially prostitution. These men, again, of just happens to be of Muslim faith, or proclaiming themselves as Muslims, will take advantage of these women for years. And a few weeks ago, a few articles or a few incidents of this actually came to court in Britain. And this has been happening in Britain for countless years. No regulatory fixes have been taken, and anything that has been done hasn't been substantial enough because of multiple reasons. Some people say it's the political agenda, some people say it's a racial agenda, some people just say it's the atmosphere, some people say that it's just our negligence to get involved. But why am I bringing this up now? The reason I find this to be a very touchy topic, and one that needs to be addressed as soon as possible, is because this stuff is starting to happen in Canada and America. And as much as people would like to argue against that, if you're in your opinion it's not happening here, it will happen soon. It's not very hard to radicalize people, to get these ideas into people's heads. And where I want to start is that this topic is not about blaming the victims. This conversation, again, it's a conversation. Please feel free to let in your comments, let in your concerns, let in your questions, everything. I really would appreciate anything you guys would say. But what concerns me is that the victims aren't able to go to even their family or their friends and address this issue in that manner. They feel like they've been cornered. And as much as we're very community oriented, and we've always been, that's where our strength comes from, is the fact that we can mobilize so fast and so efficiently. The fact that we can't mobilize around this is very concerning. That, okay, let's just say that a woman sends out racy pictures. Granted, she shouldn't, or even if it's shunned, if she does, there should be a fix. There should be something in the system to allow for that to be reprimanded. Instead of being criticized, instead of being judged for her actions, she should be able to come to the community. And the fact that she can't is very, very alarming. Next, the fact that first of all, I don't understand the fixation or the wanting or yearning of racy pictures. I don't get it. As Sikhs, as human beings, there is more to a relationship than having sexual or physical wants with other people, especially as Sikhs, because there are certain things that are written in Bani and in our code of conduct that we need to self-reflect on. Again, I'm not attacking anyone, but this is the truth. And yes, that is chains on our liberty, and it's yeah, I should be able to do this. Do whatever you want to do, but understand there are repercussions to it, and we will work around those things, and we will help you out as much as we can, because not just as Sikhs, but just as other human beings, We are supposed to be able to help each other, and the fact that we don't, that isn't on the victim, and that's not on just the perpetrator. It's the fact that we won't do anything. We need to take ownership of these things happening. The next thing is that, why does this happen? Psychological warfare upon other communities has been used in countless different times of life. One of the Supreme Court justices that retired from India actually said that rape is used as a weapon to psychologically get to a community's core and essence. It's much easier to handle the economic repercussions of war or battles or riots or pogroms or genocides. It's much easier to physically get back to it in terms of population. It's much harder to get out of the psychological warfare that takes place. There are reasons why communities are attacked in this way. And now this is coming into the light even more, because now it's no longer just Sikh women that are being attacked this way. It's women of different ethnicities, different religious groups. And now communities are still barely understanding at the core essence, what they can do. The solution isn't hard. Stop victim shaming. Stop blaming the people who this is occurring to and start blaming the perpetrators. Start blaming the system. The community that creates such stigmas that honor is between a woman's legs and that's about it. That's all she's worth. That's complete bullshit. A woman has a right to her body as much as the rest of us. Yes, she should be held to a standard, but if that standard is not met, that does not mean the end of her honor or dignity. We all make mistakes throughout our lives, but that's how we learn, and no one deserves to be punished for the rest of their life, psychologically, mentally, socially, in any manner, for a single mistake, ever. Another reason why this takes place is because in order to make one's own power seem more, one community to seem more powerful to another, we call this relative power in international relations. Relative power is, I'm willing to lose one eye if you lose both of your eyes. So pretty much, I'm willing to lose my dignity and honor as a Muslim, let's just say, in this example, in order to absolutely decimate a person, or 10 of them, or 1,000 of them. In the case of what's happening in Britain, it's thousands. And in order to gain relative power, or it's like if everybody on the face of the planet got $100, your $100 would be worth less. Now, if everybody on the face of the planet got $50 and you're the only person with $100 because you ripped everybody else off, then you have more power than everybody else, relatively. So that's relative power. So communities that orient themselves, or ideologies that elevate themselves on this system, apply these type of tactics. But this involves a lot of checking of self as a community, of our own character as individuals, and the underlying issues of why this is allowed to happen. Quite honestly, we also have to understand that part of it is drugs. People, especially females, are baited into these systems because they are either date raped, or they're sold drugs or given free drugs in exchange for these type of actions. And while under the influence, these actions are committed upon them, and then again the blackmail starts and they can't get out of the system of what's going on. again, this issue faces us in many different versions. Many different faults are to be placed. Yes, the legislature needs to be changed. Yes, people in power need to be changed. Yes, the government needs to do its job better. Yes, the police needs to do its job better. Yes, women need to be held accountable. Yes, the family needs to be held accountable. Yes, the community needs to be held accountable. But they're not. The problem isn't the females. The problem is that our community's way of protecting females is by hiding them from the world instead of preparing them to face it. Because let's be honest, we all understand that our lives are very, very short. Regardless of how immortal we think we are, our parents are going to be gone someday. And at that point, who's going to hide you from the world? Heck, we go to school every single day. Who hides us? Who protects us there? We hear about sexual assault taking place in every regard of a sick woman's life. In every form of female faces some sort of sexual harassment throughout their life. So here's a question for all Indian parents that are listening out there. Kina to bachaunge? Mat pat da rakha. मत दा राखा आप वाहिगुरु पत किने रखनियां असी. This is just for all Indian parents that are going to be listening to this. किरपाना असी उदा नहीं पाइयां. गतका असी उदा ही नहीं सिक्ख्या. We're supposed to use it. ਇਹਦੀ ਵਰਤੋਂ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ. ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਵਰਤਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਨਾ ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖੋ ਹੀ ਨਾ. ਕੀ ਤਮਾਸ਼ਾ ਬਣਾਇਆ? We are never and will never be a community who feels victimized. We are always proactive. We understand that we are going to be attacked as a community. Heck, it's happening to Jagmeet Singh in Canada right now. Stop becoming victims and start saying the truth. Because at that point, no one has power over you. Take ownership for your own faults. Take ownership of what you as an individual, as a community, as a society are doing to not just women, but to everyone around you. The reason we are not a parvar anymore, the reason why I can't trust my neighbor anymore who's Punjabi, is because I know how I treat them and how they treat me. Kadesik. At that point, you understand why all of this stuff is going on in our life, right? You have to understand that all of this stuff is underlying issues that no one's talking about. We're trying to handle the big behemoth that is grooming of women, but we don't understand how the system fails women completely and utterly. If you don't prepare the women, you don't give them a support system for their mistakes in life, where you give them a system where your honor is between your legs and once it's lost, it can never be gained back. Aren't you just setting people up for failure? If men were treated the same way as women, I'm going to be very honest, most of us are honorless. So why is it? Why is it that this happens to women? Why is it that as a community who prides itself in feminism and this idea of being equal towards women, we shun women? We make them lesser. Men don't need to protect women. I'm being very, very honest. We just need to give them the weapons and step the fuck back. Because I swear to God, I know some very, very powerful women out there who would kick my ass 10 times over and not blink or break a sweat. Stop acting like women need men to survive. Start giving them the weapons and start treating them like equals. Start giving mic to women about feminist issues. Yeah, I'm speaking right now, but that's because at some point I'm hoping these words get to someone and they are willing to stand up and talk about these issues, because I can never understand what sexual harassment is to a woman. I can never understand what the implications of rape are. I can never understand the psychological damage that's done. I can never understand how much burden our community puts on females. These are things I just can't do. Regardless of how many stories, regardless of how much rhetoric, regardless of how many forums I go to, even if I listen to women talk about it, the only people that will be able to come up with a true solution are females. And they're the only group in this equation that are given no voice. Hell, it takes a man like me to talk about this to other people and tell them, yo, females are being attacked and being abused and being swindled and they're not getting any support. And then someone's like, yo, we should probably do something about it. Isn't there something wrong with that? Isn't there something that we should fundamentally change about our thinking that should be applying gurmat? Again, the conversation at its essence comes back to the same topic over and over again. We are pretty much donkeys with the skin of a lion thrown over us, because we love the name Singh and we love the name Kaur, but the ones that we attack are each other. And all we like to say is, you're not a Singh, you're not a Kaur, you're this, you're that, you're the other. So tell me, honestly, how many of you are out there listening to this and thinking to yourselves, if someone came up to me and told me they had experienced something like this, or you knew something was wrong with them, what would you do? And usually the answer is, yo, I would go tell someone, I would do something about it. Now let me ask you. Simran Singh passed away from depression or mental disorders, let's just say, right? We all mourned. We all talked about it. It's only been 2 months. Where'd those conversations go? That's our mentality for everything. Every situation, every scenario that's ever taken place in our community, that's how we handle it. फलाने दे घर ਇਹ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ, ਹਾਂ ਬੜਾ ਮਾੜਾ ਹੋਇਆ, ਹਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਮੰਮੀ ਡੈਡੀ ਨੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਿਖਾਇਆ ਨਹੀਂ, ਉਹਦੀ ਮੰਮੀ ਕਮਲੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਆ, or ये वो everything, right? ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਚਾਹ ਪੀਤੀ, ਹਾਏ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਜੀ, ਹਾਂ ਰੱਬ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਾੜੀ ਮਾੜੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਜੀ. 2 months pass, we're here right where we are right now. This is why things like grooming still exist. Our mentality is such ass. We don't want to admit that we fail women on a daily basis. We don't want to admit that we don't know stuff about a female's life. That is the simple fact. And before we can take any steps towards blaming another community for what's happening to us, yo, the ones who are supposed to react are us, and we ain't doing shit. Why? Because, yo, the honor of a female is on the line. Let me ask you a question. What importance, what power, what does it matter about having such an honor where you're dying every single day? Where you feel like you should just end your own life? Where you feel like you have so much pressure you can't even walk down the street by yourself? I'm glad I'm a man. There's something wrong with that. Because me admitting I'm like being a man means that I know innately and systemically there's something wrong with being a woman. It's the truth. I will be the first one to admit it. Or otherwise I would be indifferent. And our generation knows it. Guys, if you have a sister, why is it that she's not allowed to wear short skirts? Why is it that they're not allowed to wear armless clothing? Sleeveless clothing, sorry. But you can wear tanks. Or you can wear shorts. Every single day of the year. Heck, I know guys that wear shorts throughout the winter. Aren't you perpetuating the same exact stigmas, the same exact standards, the same exact mentality that we say that we don't contribute to? And you know, when someone asks about Sikhi or like, why do you practice Sikhi, man? It's because we're equals. We're feminists. Ja bano, ja kehno hat jo. That's me being as nice as I can about this topic. When females are being attacked, it's not their fault that they weren't prepared. When they aren't given the instruments, when they aren't given the systems, when they aren't given an avenue or a channel, when all they are given is stigma and fault and shamed and attacked and belittled, what do you expect them to do? I often say this line, and I'm not very proud of saying it. If Guru Gobind Singh Ji was here today and stood in front of every single Sikh on the face of the planet, I'd be shocked if even 5 of them walked up when Guru Sahib asked, "Who is truly my Sikh?" I would be shocked. Because the people that would walk up are either foolish they don't understand what they're doing, or they truly do represent my Guru. And that's only 5 people out of the 30 million we're so proud of having. What's the point of having 30 million people when you can't even protect the females in one country? And heck, I'm only talking about Britain. Let's not get started on Surrey, where Sikh boys, Punjabi girls are going missing every single day. Where in Seattle, we have the same exact problems. It's occurring. We're perpetuating it. Yeah, we're behind on the topic, but yo, we're getting there. In past few days, two huge events have occurred that have opened my eyes. Sidhu Moosewala came out with a reply for the attacks done on him about how he perpetuates this gangster thug rhetoric of Punjabis. It's like, yo. And at one point, I actually understood the media, and I was like, yo, media, you're right. But no, what I didn't see was, yo, music is just an avenue to show what these people go through every single day, what the mentality of the people is of that time. And that mentality is formed and forged by the government, by the society, by what is perpetuated. If people are in love with drugs, with drinking and guns, and someone sings a song about the fact that people like this stuff and that's the life that they have to live and the one that they live in, is that the song's fault for telling and showing us the reality of the situation? Or is it the reality itself? When Just Rain was caught, well, I would just say was exposed, drinking and everything that took place in that video, if you want to watch it, go watch it. Why is it that we've perpetuated this person as an individual to such a high regard instead of his actions? It's like all the good things that he's ever done just went out the window and it's just stuck with the bad. Yeah, maybe. Let's just play out the hypotheticals in all of the situation. Maybe he did go to the TSA and maybe he used it as a publicity stunt, but guess what? The reality of the situation is that still occurred to him. He was still discriminated against regardless of why he decided not to take off his turban. He was still discriminated against, period. Yeah, he might drink. But is it any less true what happens in his videos? The parodies he makes of like, wah khalsa, wah fateh. Is that any less valid? Is it any less hypocritical of everyday Sikhs? We love bashing other people because we have to get defensive about ourselves. Be like, hey, look, we're bad people. I know dekh, ye bhi bad banda hai. Two wrongs don't make a right. Never have and never will. And this is the same problem. A girl could do everything possibly correct. 9 baje tak ghar bad jandi honi hai. Doesn't go out. Doesn't hang out with a lot of people. She made one wrong mistake and suddenly everything goes out the window. Her honor is zero. You think that's right? You think that any of us would like to be judged on one moment of our life when we were imperfect? These things aren't going to change overnight. And I love hearing the fact that, yo, my parents don't like me talking about this stuff. When I'm at family events, yo, they don't let me talk about this stuff. I'm like, yo, you know why they don't like you talking about this stuff? It's because, yo, they're to have fun, but they don't like acknowledging the fact that their house is on fire. And when someone shows you that, yo, tere gale te kuch laga, it's like, no, the rest of my body is fine. Stop talking about the one thing on my neck. It's like, yo, I know the rest of your body is fine, but the one thing on your neck, dude, take care of it. Check it out. ਹੋਰ ਨਾ cancer ਨਿਕਲੇ. ਹੋਰ ਨਾ ਇਹੀ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮਾਰ ਦੇਵੇ. Everything else could be fine. It's just the one thing. The one thing you don't fix. That's what's killing us right now. You know what that one thing that we're missing is? Imandari. Kirt. Trust. Loyalty. Integrity. That's what kirt is, right? Hard work. in every essence of our lives? Kert? Yo, ਕਹਿਣਾ ਸੌਖਾ ਵੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇ 3 ਅਸੂਲ ਆ, ਕਿਰਤ ਕਰਨੀ, ਨਾਮ ਜਪਣਾ ਤੇ ਵੰਡ ਛਕਣਾ. But only those who try practicing that truly every single day of their life can understand how hard it is and what it entails. Because that includes ownership of our actions as a community, as a person, as everything. The only person that can fix you is you. The only person that can influence other people is you. The only person who can help others walk on the right path and not make the same mistakes you made is you. Because all we can do is guide one another. All we can do is change ourselves. All we can do is learn about these topics, and all we can do is act upon it. And if we fail on all of those avenues, guess who you have to blame at the end of the day? It's yourself. And it's fine to make mistakes. It's fine to screw up. But it's not fine to stop trying. Often, when having these conversations with elder people, they'll be like, yo, we tried so hard in our youth. When we were younger, man, we tried so hard to change the world, man. We were just like you. And we tried raising these issues. We tried fixing everything. We tried changing the world. Don't worry about it. Like, we've cut our time. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing now? Today. If I asked you that you ate roti yesterday, right? You don't need roti today because kaldi roti aaj chal jana. For the next 10 years, you don't need any more roti. That's the same way we should live our lives. Think of our kirt, naam japna and vand shakna, to be as important as every single breath. I took the last breath. Does that mean I don't need my next one? Why is that? We say tan man tan sab saump gur ko hukum maniye paiye. Anybody that does their nitnem on a daily basis reads that line in Anand Sahib 40 paudiyaan. Or, this is my favorite because most of us do at least Japji Sahib, right? Pao khalla agantap tao panda pao amrit tal. Kadiye sarb sachi taksal jinko nadar karm tinakal. 19. Where's that line? Kadiye sarb sachi taksal. No. Aaron mat ved hathyar. What does that mean? The iron is our mat, our knowledge, our conscious, our intellect. Ved hathyar, the books, the studies are our weapons. Read that every single day. Yeah, you guys are right. Nitnem is pointless. Because guess what? If every Sikh, a self-proclaiming Sikh, actually listen to what that Bani says, what that 140 says. Remember, this is the very first Bani in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. It's the very first few pages. Aaron mat ved hathyar, pao khalla agantap tao panda pao amrit tal, kadiye sarb sachi taksal, jinko nadar karm tinkal. What are we trying to form? It says, what school are we in? Kadiye sarb sachi taksal. Form a school in which you are cultivating people and the Shabad. Jinko nadar karam tinkal. Whoever have seen this, whoever have lived through it, have witnessed this, karam tinkal. They are the ones that call in those good actions, those good fortunes. Because guess what? They've realized this and then they start working on it. And it's no longer good and bad, and it's no longer their problem, it's no longer victim shaming, it's no longer other people's fault. Because then at that point it becomes about the issue and what we can do about it. That's why Sikhs have always been able to mobilize. Why is it that as a minority across the face of the planet, India decided to attack Sikhs? As a minority, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਖਰਾਬ ਆ? The reason is because we can mobilize and we understand our responsibility as human beings. Other communities don't. Because it's imbued in us to be active, to be caring, to be compassionate, to understand other people. The sad thing is we don't even understand ourselves. Not anymore. Because I'll be honest. Sikhs used to, the story of Ahmad Shah Abdali attacking India, trying to take women away on his slave trade to Ghazni and make them sex slaves. The people that protected them were Sikhs. Sikhs married those women, the ones that were thought to be honorless. And then those women also joined the ranks of Sikhs because the Sikhs were willing to protect them. And they said, what am I going to do with a family who was willing to give me away so easily? I would rather, that's not my family. What type of family is that? They would disown that family and then they go join this family of the Sikhs. Why is that not true anymore? Why is it that we say, the fault is in the government. The government did this. The government is inactive. The government doesn't have right people. When did we become so civilized? Civilized. To understand our history, we also have to understand the importance of a Nagar Kirtan, man. One of the very first Nagar Kirtans that ever took place, was when Guru Hargobind Ji was in Gwalior prison. And Baba Buddha Ji went to negotiate. By the way, he was our negotiator too. He did everything. Baba Buddha Ji went to go negotiate and get Guru Sahib out of prison. And when they didn't let him go, the Sikhs would walk from Darbar side all the way to Gwalior prison, which is it's a deep walk. You can look it up online. And they would walk doing kirtan. They'd go in a circle around Gwalior prison to just meet Guru Sahib and walk back. That was our form of protest. Guru Har Rai Ji had 1,300 horseback, weapon-wielding Sikhs with him at all times. Not just as a show of power, but as a way of showing that no one will be under tyrannical rule while the Sikhs walk the earth. So why are we allowing this tyranny to occur to our own community and then blaming them? We're not weaponizing our own. We're not telling females, if anything ever happens, please, it's okay. Come talk to us. Instead, what do we do when we hear about this type of stuff? Guess what? If I had this conversation with our parents, guess what they would do? School jana, घर आना, तेरा phone नहीं मिलना, तेनू laptop नहीं मिलना. That's it. Don't our parents see that that's what's causing all of this? Instead of suffocating our females, we should liberate them. Give them the weapons to break their chains. Give them the weapons. Give them the mic. Give them the utility. Give them the power we so cherish. Leadership doesn't occur from just role models. Leadership is imbued in you by your parents and their values, and guess who spends the most time with our children, regardless of what you think? It's females. If you empower females, imagine the kids that they will produce, cultivate. And I'm not saying that's just the function of females, but imagine. Again, I'm going to say this one more time. Guys, if you are a brother, if you are a father, if you are anyone in the community, if you are someone's cousin, if you are someone's niece, nephew, uncle, patija, taya, whatever you are, if you recognize your duty to the females around you and understand that you need to use your privilege as men to allow their chains to be broken and then allow them to walk next to you as they should, always, then and only then can we start facing these issues about grooming. Because let's face it, there's a reason guys aren't attacked the same way. They're attacked with acid. They're attacked with weapons. It's harder to get to the psychological effects to men because we're taught, yo, if something happens, sanu das. Das se minnu ki hoya. Because we know as men that, yo, if someone attacked us and our parents find out, they're going to do something about it other than tell us, yo, you should stop going over there. They're going to get the community involved. Heck, you witnessed this a few weeks ago, and I don't know if Kareem is still here, but remember when that kid at KR was attacked for allegedly a hate crime and discriminating because he was wearing a turban? Yo, imagine if that was a female. Let's just imagine that for a second. Wouldn't she be more hesitant to tell her parents? Why is that? We want to face the problem, but we don't want to see the underlying effects of it. And again, that situation is just being taken as an example, regardless of what the true facts are of that conversation. We'll talk about what's the perception of people. In order to face problems like grooming, we as a community need to understand our job. As males, we need to understand where we draw the line prior to marriage, prior to everything, regardless of what the culture tells us. I am all for freedoms, but I am also for responsibility. I am for you being able to have fun. Just be safe, completely safe. Because every action has consequences, but I bet your ass that it's 10 times worse for females than it is for males. Understand that, then take your actions. Every single one of them. Yeah, you're late home because you were with your girlfriend, but you're saying you were at the gym. Yo, guess what? If she uses that same excuse when she gets home at 10 p.m., she has a worry that she's not going to be able to go to school tomorrow because her parents are thinking she's out with a guy. You think that it's bad if, like, your dick pic gets sent around to other people and you'll be insulted and embarrassed? Imagine how she feels if that same thing happened to her. What the community is going to think about her, what her friends are going to think about her, what her parents are going to say about her. Your dick pic will be laughed off and it will be ridiculed for a few days. That's going to stick with her forever. If you're in a relationship with a female, understand all of the chains, all of the stigmas, all of the problems they face are what you face times 10. Women recognize that. Step firm in every decision you ever make. And men, be more understanding, be more caring. And females, if they aren't, and you're not comfortable doing any of that stuff, be okay with saying no. Stick with it, and don't change your mind for anybody else, ever. Because it's a long-term solution, and it's going to take forever, because it's really hard. I'll be very honest, very hard for men to understand this concept. Because we're so taught to be this, that we need to be in charge, no one should say no to us. We're so used to hearing the word yes, that when someone takes that yes away from us, we don't like it very much. Be okay to say no. Be okay to be independent. Be okay that if someone leaves because you won't do something with them, yo, what is that relationship truly worth? I'm being very honest. Because yeah, I'm talking about the Muslim community doing this to us, but yo, besides the fact that this male might be a Muslim, what's the difference? Because brown guys will ask for nudes. Brown guys will show it to other guys. Brown guys will do all of this stuff. So we need to understand what's going on, how to combat it. We need to weaponize females, not, well, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And we need to be their backup, and we need to be their support until they can stand on their own feet, and then let go. Be okay with that. Then and only then can we handle such situations. Until then, we're just going to be stuck in this constant loop. And if we don't like what's happening in Britain, then we have to understand that we need to be proactive about handling these situations here. Yasin, I'm going to load this up on YouTube, and it's going to be on here as well for the next 24 hours. Please watch the beginning of the video. I explained the whole situation. Again, it's not against Muslims. It's not against the belief system. It's against the people who say that they're followers and they do all of these heinous crimes in the name of religion. So please, again, do check it out from the very get-go. But it's time for us to understand what we're supposed to be doing, what we are doing, and where we are trying to get. I think that's the end of this live. I want to leave it here, and I want to focus and leave this message out there for you guys. Please, if you have any questions, concerns, comments about this topic, feel free to message me personally. Again, my Snapchat is J12Pimpin. Again, don't judge the name. My Instagram is JaspSingh7. Add me on Facebook. It's Jaspreet Singh. And then, or any other platform that you can find me on. And please message me. Everything will stay confidential between us. I just want to understand your points of view, your perspective on all of this. What you feel about it, if you liked it, if you disliked it, if you support it, whatever. If you deny it, whatever. You are entitled to your opinion. Let's have a discussion. And let's cultivate better thoughts, better answers, better ideas about dealing with these topics. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.